which is kind of a bummer. We don't have gaps because the number line, the real number line, doesn't have gaps. It keeps right on going, right? So how can we address that? Well, we address that by saying, okay, we'll have boundaries. This is like having two houses that live next to one another, you know, and there's an area of grass that goes down the middle. And so each side cuts like half the grass, right? That goes right down between the houses, okay? Because you don't want any gaps in cutting the grass. So what we do is we say, well, we don't want any gaps, so we're going to make actually the boundaries here are going to be 74.5. And 84.5. And so our first category actually is going to start at 64.5 and go to 74.5. That's still 10 wide, but now I don't have any gaps. All the grass is cut between the houses. So if I put the boundaries over here, I'm going to start at 64.5, go to 74.5. What's this number right there now? 74.5. Right? I want all the grass cut. I don't want any gaps. I'm going to start, the next grass cutting starts where I left off. I want to cover all of the number line. 94.5, 94.5, 94.5, 104.5, 104.5 to 114.5, 114.5 to 124.5. Everybody understand the idea between what I did with the limits and the boundaries there? Now, the reason I took 0.5 is because all of our data is in whole numbers, right? So, we have 65 pulse rate, 77 pulse rate, et cetera, et cetera. And so now I have these boundaries, and I am absolutely sure that none of my data points will fall right on a boundary. I know they're either in this category or this category because there's no 88.5 as a pulse rate. Make sense? Questions? Okay. All right, so the next thing is you got to tell me how many pieces of data fall in each one. Now the tally area is just if you want when you're counting to do something like that, but really what I want is the numbers here. What's the frequency, which is the number of pieces of data that fall into each category, or category being a class, okay? So tell me these numbers. What's the frequency here, 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 and here for our data? On the example on the board, it's, 5, 8, 6, 5, 2, 1, 3. But those are obviously not our numbers. So I'll give you a couple minutes, confer with one another, and tell me how many of the data points fall into each of the categories. Work together if you want. And I definitely need 3 of the same answers before we move on. Everybody has got to agree.